All right, we have a possible bad news for mainly free to play players and other players here on see the title at the 2.5 leak. Terrible news for the next update. Um, see like the little here is that it's probably going to be shorter with compensation for the lack of the content, as well as the fact that absent of. So let's jump down here and we can see right up here that obviously, keep in mind that version updates are 6 weeks or 42 days typically. They run for quite a bit of time. And within this time frame, get two characters. So typically we have 3 weeks for a character, another character. It's just generally how that works. While in the process, you're able to get or free to play Stellar Jades and a bunch of other stuff. And if it is a whole new update like this one is 0.5, then we are going to be getting Gift of Odyssey, allowing us to get free up to free multi of the special limited tickets. However, according to leaks, now they don't necessarily state where they get their leaks from, which honestly is kind of smart because they want to be able to have continue traffic onto their site. We can see here that unlike the typical 6 weeks, it may be cut down by days from 7 or 14 days. So possibility that the patch is 2 weeks shorter. Now, if this is to be believed, then we are looking at either one of two instances when it comes to banners. We're looking at banners are only going to be 2 weeks each, 14 days, which is kind of terrible, to be completely frank, for mainly free to play players. Also, players who spend a little bit of money in the game, because you get quicker succession of characters at you. Or, now this is the other part of it, which also is not really the best because in patient that they will be having Fei Shao as well as Ling Sha banners running simultaneously at a certain given point when the first phase banner is going to be going away. It might have like a couple days left, and phase 2 banner is up and running. So you're going to have two limited characters while also possibly having two as well. So I don't really like that. They also did mention that right here there has been a notable absence leaks centered around events. So obviously with every new update we have a particular event. For example, currently we have March 7th events. You're able to Stellar Jades, you're able to Eidolons for Hunt 7th, and all of this stuff. That's just an example. Now with, again, they don't necessarily say where they get leaks from, but they are also stating that we're going to be getting less events centered around the new 2.5 update. That's something to keep in mind. All right. So furthermore, one of the only few leaked events for the 2.5 update is actually a reward distribution. The leak mentions an event called Gift of Comet, which will give players several in-game items such as fuel for Tears of Dream, as well as 800 Stellar Jade. That's very good. That allegedly amounts to 5 free pulls. On top of the 10 free pulls given by the regular Odyssey event, which I mentioned previously, this means that players might get more free pulls in Honkai Star Rail 2.5 through distribution events, but the rumored Gift of Comet could be compensation for the lack of more. So, is that good or bad? Now, I know people are going to be saying, oh, well, that's 800 Stellar Jades on top of the Gift of Odyssey. So, as they mentioned, 5 plus 10, that's 15 pulls. So, it's a possibility of doing 2 free multis just right off the bat. Oh, you complete your weekly events and stuff, and boom, you have enough for 2. Is that necessarily a good thing? Or are they trying to like do like a smoke and mirrors kind of thing with this new gift of Comet as compensation for the lack of more events? I tend to err on the side that I think this is a cop out by Hoyoverse. I do like the fact how we always have events in the game, and it allows players to log in on a regular basis, events, do quests, do everything, because it keeps the player base still active and engaged. If you do this and take away events, but you just give them pulls, I mean that's just becoming a like a pull simulator, which I don't like. No. So, given the recent leak that 2.5 will be shorter than the usual, the addition of 3 new playable characters in a single patch also seems like a way of compensating players for a lack of enticing content. Again, this is, as I mentioned earlier, how you take away free in-game content that players can play with, spend time doing, engage in product that you're putting out there. Take that away, not only adding free polls, but new units. Well, that's great. You're adding new characters, and Fei Xiao is one of the that I personally am forward to, but this is just not the way to go in terms of having your player base engaged. So I really don't agree with this whatsoever, and I hope that these leaks aren't true, but if they are, I hope it's just for this patch, and I hope players respond towards Hoyoverse and send feedback or whatever, like, hey, look, we want more events in the game, because that allows us to play the game regularly. If you give us new units, that's great and all, but what new pieces of content can we play them in? So it's not a doom and gloom kind of thing, but it is something to keep an eye on of how they are going to do this for later, for 2.6 patch and further on.